Summer's around the corner and I've got my top 20 summer fragrances video here today, and all these fragrances are unisex targeted, so if you're looking for your next favorite summer fragrance that's unisex, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, today I'm talking about summer fragrances. I've got 20 here, some of the usual suspects, some of newish ones that I like. You know, they're just really great summer fragrances, but I did kind of add some depth to some of the fragrances this particular time around. They're a little more intense, not necessarily the ultra freshest fragrances for summer, because I do like a little depth with some of my fragrances. You'll find the freshies in this list, but a lot of them do have some deeper notes just to make sure that they have lasting power during the summer months. Especially I'm in San Francisco. We don't really have too much of a heat wave here, except for after you know August rolls around and we'll start getting the heat waves here. Either way, I'll let you know about all of these 20 unisex summer fragrances, but before I do, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So I do want to mention I'm not ranking this list, but we're going to start off right off the bat with a fragrance from a house that I recently did a video of 3 of their fragrances. It's Veronique GABAI and it's Sexy Garrigue, this one right here. So this one actually, I would call this like a summer amber fragrance because it has ambery touches, but there are notes in here that don't make it really cloying. But I do want to warn you, it can be some of you that are only used to the summer freshies. But I think this is definitely suitable to wear when it's warm outside, because I love the whole Labdanum thing that's happening in here, which creates the ambery accord. But it's contrasted beautifully with resins, woods, pine, patchouli. There's some aromatic herbs in there as well. Very sexy. I love the name. It's called Sexy Garrigue for a reason, but it's definitely ambery, and I like the fact that it's nicely contrasted with fresh and aromatic notes. There's no citruses here, so this can get a little strong, just be warned, but I think it's totally appropriate. So this is Sexy Garrigue from the house of Veronique GABAI. A great fragrance. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from a house called ATELIER MATERI. This is POIVRE POMELO. POIVRE POMELO is basically black pepper with pomelo, like grapefruit, and it's a nice blend of those two notes. I find pomelo, grapefruit, and yuzu to be a little zingy, spicy to begin with, so the black pepper or the poivre complements the spiciness of the grapefruit that's in here. So this has grapefruit, Sichuan pepper, MATEU, Angelica, pink pepper, Peony, and Osmanthus. So you do pick up some fruity touches in here. Of course, the spiciness comes in here, a little bit of a tea green touch from the MATEU note, but a beautiful fragrance. And again, it's a fragrance that's citrusy, but it has some depth to it that kind of has a longer lasting quality, rather than wearing something completely citrusy that disappears right away, if that makes sense. I don't mind those kind of fragrances. I love citruses, don't get me wrong, but this year, as I said, I'm doing something a little bit of a twist to make some of these fragrances a little more longer lasting for summer wear. So ATELIER MATERI POIVRE POMELO, check it out. If you don't know this brand, Lucky Scent is now carrying the brand. It's a great brand that I discovered about 2.5 years ago on my travels in Europe. So POIVRE POMELO, ATELIER MATERI. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Profumum Roma. It's Aqua Viva, and I'm almost to the very bottom of this one because it goes down fairly easy. And this one's a very citrusy fragrance, but it's a tart, sourish lemon note with lots of cypress, cedar, and laburnum. It's kind of like your beefier Eau d'Adrienne from Annick Goutal or Goutal Paris, but this is the Profumum Roma version. And I really love these kind of tart, citrusy fragrances, especially when it's really hot outside, like extremely hot, humid. This is the kind of fragrance to wear. I might not pull for the Sexy Garrigue. I will pull for something like this, because this will kind of like quench my thirst and, you know, kind of cool me off with its sour tartness. It'll cut through the heat, you know, the humidity. A great scent, Aqua Viva from Profumum Roma. Check it out if you don't know it. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Rosendo MATEU. It's number 1, and this one is a cozy citrus fragrance. This one might be a lot fresher than some of the other ones that I spoke to you about, but it does have some depth to it. It's got bergamot, petitgrain, tea, lime, white musk, neroli, lavender, mandarin, thyme, and cardamom. So you've got the whole citrus thing happening here, bergamot. You've got the citrus flowers coming in here, lots of them. You also have the leaves of the citrus tree, the petitgrain. There's aromatic and spicy notes thrown in as well, and then there's that musk. That's a really, really beautiful fragrance to wear. I really love this one. This is my second favorite from this house, number 5 being my number 1 favorite, number 1 being my number 2 favorite, and there's other fragrances from this house that I also really like. Stay tuned for an upcoming video on the brand very, very soon. But in the meantime, number 1 from Rosendo MATEU is a great scent to wear this summer. And once again, this brand is now also selling at Lucky Scents, so check them out if you haven't discovered this fragrance collection yet. So that's Rosendo MATEU number 1, a great offering. The next fragrance is going to the house of Goldfield and Banks, Bohemian Lime, and I really love this one because I always say it reminds me of a Moscow Mule cocktail. There's a gingery touch under there. They don't mention ginger. I think I'm getting something from the coriander note in here, but lots of finger lime, and this is a very, very strange note for me. It's a strange fruit to begin with. Finger lime is not something that we see here. I think it's Australian native, but we have finger lime, vetiver, bergamot, coriander, sandalwood, and cedar. Very, very uplifting and very, very happy fragrance, and just invigorating with the notes. There's that spiciness that kind of gives me that kind of like a gingery kind of an effect in there, and that's why I feel like, you know, Moscow Mules have ginger, and of course they have lime, so I get that kind of a cocktail-like feeling without the boozy touch. But it's a very, very fresh fragrance, and as I said, invigorating, uplifting, all of that stuff. If you like something a little different with some spices thrown in, a kind of a effervescent quality, then try Bohemian Lime from the house of Goldfield and Banks. Next up, I'm going with a fragrance from a house called Nishane, and it's Hachivat. I keep recommending this one. Recently I featured it in a pineapple fragrances video, and I just like the fact that this is really, really sharp, very woody, very oak mossy and pineapple-y. The pineapple is not the sweet kind of pineapple, it's a little tart, so you got that sour kind of an experience in here. But it's very, very long lasting, and I really love this fragrance. I was going to feature something else from this house, but I'm talking about more deeper, longer lasting fragrances for summer, and I think this one will do perfectly, and I really do enjoy it for that particular reason. So this is chock full of pineapple, oak moss, grapefruit. That's another note that comes up a lot here, and it has a kind of a bitterness that grapefruits have. Bergamot, patchouli, woods, and jasmine, and I'm almost forgetting the patchouli. I like this one also because of that patchouli note. It's lots of it, and the whole combination is amazing. So that's Nishane Hachivat. And this next one I had kind of been sleeping on after I did a review last year, and I rediscovered it recently because, you know, I was going through my collection to dig up rhubarb and grapefruit, and this one actually has both of those notes. So this is JOVOY 21 Conduit Street, featuring lots of those kind of notes, the rhubarb and grapefruit, but it also has lots of ambroxan to give us that kind of sexy, musky, ambery touches that everybody loves about ambroxan, if you love ambroxan, because I know there are haters of ambroxan out there. But either way, 21 Conduit Street from JOVOY, named after the store in Mayfair in London, features notes of rhubarb, grapefruit, balsam fir, lavender, ambroxan, and woods. So the grapefruit is very, very prominent. Rhubarb is also very, very prominent. Rhubarb has a sweet, slight fruity, tart touch to it, and of course grapefruit has that bitter, zingy spiciness to it, juicy, citrusy altogether, contrasted with balsam fir from some green woods, and of course aromatic lavender thrown in, and then of course wrap it up with that ambroxan note to give us a great scent. It wears perfectly in the summertime. I think in the heat it's really, really great. It almost feels like it's not going to be a substantial fragrance, but I think with all the notes it really does, and as I said, in the heat it's even better. It does have a little bit of a substance, so it works perfectly. So it's JOVOY 21 Conduit Street. Check it out if you don't know this one. This next one is an overdose of citrus fruits and flowers. If you like those notes, this is definitely one I highly recommend. This is Healy Oranges and Lemons, Say the Bells of St. Clements. it's the longest name. So this one actually, Healy is a brand that doesn't get spoken about a lot. I discovered them, I guess, at Barney's at one year, like early in the 2010s, very early, when everybody was talking about Selmarin. I never really cared for Selmarin, but this one is definitely solid because I love my citrus florals, citruses, and things like that. And this is nothing but, with a few added additional notes as well, like tea and vetiver. But Healy's Oranges and Lemons Say the Bells of St. Clements features Neroli, Petitgrain, tea, lemons, bergamot, orange, mandarin, and vetiver. Beautiful experience. This one, once again, I would pull in the hottest days because it is lighter. It's not a lot of depth to it. Vetiver has a little bit of woody earthiness, tea, cozy factor, which is definitely needed when it's really hot outside because heat and humidity exhausts me. I'm sure a lot of people deal with that as well. So this is the kind of fragrance you would put on to kind of like just quench your thirst and, you know, get invigorated and uplifted and things like that. So that's Healy's Oranges and Lemons Say the Bells of St. Clements. The next fragrance, probably my favorite bergamot fragrance, probably my favorite Le Labo fragrance. It's Le Labo's Bergamot 22. Beautiful, like the most beautiful smell ever. I think it's just, as soon as I put my nose to it, it's like a citrus bomb, you know, like a bergamot just blew up in my face. That's what it smells like. But the Bergamot 22 features loads of bergamot, vetiver, grapefruit, orange blossom, petitgrain, musk, and cedar. Once again, it's a citrus bomb, and I love these kind of notes. But this one, something's just beautiful about it. If there's a very masculine citrus there, this one's, you know, a little more unisex, a little more feminine, and I just love its delicate qualities of this one, but it's beautiful. I like the vetiver contrasted beautifully with the bergamot. That grapefruit, once again, has a zingy bitterness that kind of contrasts beautifully. You throw in that kind of citrus floral note of the orange blossom. The green leaves of the bitter orange tree comes in as well. Musk and cedar, fantastic fragrance. Wear a lot of this one when it's really, really hot and humid outside. It's perfect for those days. So that's Bergamot 22 from the house of Le Labo. This one I wanted to add in the list. I did a video about 3 fragrances from this house. This one turned out to be like a freshie with some depth to it. This is from the house of Bortnikov. It's Amber Cologne, this one right here. And this one goes into kind of a tropical direction, and it's called Cologne, but it's amber. And amber usually is associated with heavy fragrances, so it's kind of like amber cologne, you know, kind of a thing. Colognes are generally thought as very fresh fragrances. So it is kind of like that, but still it has some substance to it. But it has lots of deep floral, tropical kind of notes in here. Frangipani, orange, jasmine, pink grapefruit, white grapefruit, bergamot, lemon, sandalwood, and ambergris. You know, I like this one because it's the contrast of that frangipani, which is not a note that comes up quite frequently in fragrances. It's a tropical flower, beautiful, very, very smelly, fragrant flower that I really, really love. It's nicely contrasted with the citruses here, and of course the woods and the ambergris. The ambergris is the whale regurgitation. I think it's got to be real ambergris here, but it's not a really, really strong amount of it. It's kind of like just enough to kind of like balance out the fragrance with all the different notes. So Amber Cologne from Bortnikov. It's a great fragrance for summer with substance. Again, it's got some deep, rich qualities to it. If you like the idea of tropical and then tropical citrus, then this is definitely one for you to try. The next one I'm talking about is Chanel, and it's 1957. And I went with this one. Once again, it has some depth to it. It's a little powdery too. Chanel's known for powdery. It's also a little aldehydic. It's got aldehydes in the notes, and then it's cold. Of course, it's also very, very musky. It's a very musky fragrance, but loads of orange blossom, loads of bergamot, loads of jasmine, pink pepper, coriander, orris, honey, cedar. So some of those notes might be a little too much for you guys in the summertime, but give it a try. Don't wear it when it's extremely hot outside, but regular, like if you are wearing it just normal, no heat waves kind of summer days, I think it should be fine. But I really love this one because it's really beautifully musky and floral and aldehydic. It has sparkly touches. It has fizzy qualities because of the aldehydes. But I really love it because of the musk. It's loads of musk in here. It's more like a white musk, so it's clean and it's contrasted beautifully with the citruses that are in here. I think it's a solid release from the last couple of years from Chanel, 1957. All right, this next one is one that I fell in love with at the Celine boutique in New York City when I was visiting New York City in 2019. I had just found out that they launched their fragrances, and I immediately went there to sample these fragrances, and Parade was one of the ones that I fell in love with, and it's because it's the citruses once again. Celine's Parade has notes of vetiver, neroli, bergamot, oak moss, and musk. It's a freshie, it's loads of neroli, contrasted beautifully with the, you know, citrus note of bergamot, but you have that vetiver in here to give it some earthy depth to it. The oak moss and the musk comes in as well. It's a bit simplistic, but it's a great scent, and it comes in the most beautiful bottle, and I really love it. I've got it on right now. I'm wearing it as I'm speaking to you guys, and I think it really, really doesn't disappoint. It smells fantastic, and I love wearing it. So Celine Parade, a great, great fragrance for you to wear. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Atelier des Ors. This is Nuda Veritas, this one right here. And Nuda Veritas is an aquatic fragrance, and it has the aquatic notes like cologne, and I'm generally not into those kind of notes, cologne, but I can tolerate it here, and I really like the way it smells. It's not a lot of cologne. I think it's a minuscule amount of it, but you do experience an aquatic touch here. It's definitely aquatic, but it has orange blossom, jasmine, bergamot, osmanthus, ambroxan, tagettes, ambrette, TR. Whenever I see ambrette in fragrance, I'm really, really all over it. Ambrette is that musky note, that kind of the little kidney-shaped little things that look like kidneys, as I said, and they use them to add a muskiness to fragrances. And it definitely has musky qualities here, but it's lots of orange blossom, lots of jasmine with sea marine kind of aquatic touches. Gorgeous fragrance, perfect for summer. And this, once again, I think is more appropriate when it's really, really hot outside. I think it's a really, really kind of a thirst quenching, humidity killing kind of a fragrance. You know, those really, really ultra fresh fragrances are perfect when it's ultra, ultra humid outside. So Nuda Veritas, a great scent from the house of Atelier des Ors. Check it out if you don't know it. And the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is also aquatic. One of my favorite Frederic Malle fragrances. It's Lys Mediterranee. I recently featured this in a spring florals video. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch that. It is a floral fragrance, obviously. It's Mediterranean lily is what it translates to. Lots of lilies. It also reminds me of Easter church service next to the sea kind of thing, because you have marine sea notes floating around in here that reminds you of the sea. So Lys Mediterranee has notes of lilies, marine notes, lotus flower, angelica, ginger, orange blossom, musk, and vanilla. Really, really to die for. I find lilies also to have a little bit of a clove-like quality, or not necessarily cloves, something spicy in there. So gorgeous, so gorgeous. I can also pick up maybe a little bit of lilacs in here. I'm not sure if I'm getting lilacs or something in here, but overall, it's such a beautiful fragrance. If you like the smell of lilies and aquatic touches together, I highly recommend Lys Mediterranee from Frederic Malle. Check it out. That is a great scent, perfect for summer. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is one of the latest from Eccentric Molecules. This is Molecule 1 plus Mandarin. If you like the idea of the simplistic, minimalistic fragrance Molecule 1, focusing on ISOE Super, but with the added touch of the Mandarin orange note, with the sweet citrus touch, this is great. Everyone I've spoken about this one loves it. Compliments do come in. I've been getting a little more compliments lately for some reason. I am around more people lately, distantly, but still visiting folks, and people are loving this particular fragrance. I don't know why. I think it's that sweet Mandarin orange note, nicely blended with the ISOE Super, which is kind of a cedar sandalwood combination, minimalistic synthetic note. Great scent. If you don't know this one, do check it out. Am I holding it correct? Maybe I'm not. I'm blind without my glasses on, but this is how it looks right there. Anyway, that is Eccentric Molecules, Molecule 1 plus Mandarin. Next up, it's going to the house of Louis Vuitton, and it's Afternoon Swim. I can't get enough of how great this one smells. It smells really, really great, and even on me, it smells even better than smelling it out of the bottle. Just a great blend of notes. Bergamot, Mandarin orange, ginger, and ambergris. It's just a match made in heaven with those notes. It is on the very, very light side, so this one is perfect for when it's really hot and humid outside. Once again, it's very, very invigorating. It's very, very uplifting. That ginger really, really does wonders in this particular fragrance. It adds a nice, zingy, spicy contrast running throughout the bergamot with the Mandarin orange. And then throw in on a little bit of that ambergris. It's not a lot of ambergris in here, but I do pick up a little bit of an aquatic kind of little animalic touch running throughout it. Not too much, but gorgeous, gorgeous scent. I think even though it's not anything groundbreaking as a scent, it is so comforting. And sometimes when it's really, really hot and humid outside, you want comforting, you know? It's like really, really exhausting when it's really, really hot and humid. And I like to pull for the really, really fresh fragrances when it's in that kind of an environment. So that's Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim. The next one, I'm going to the house of Acqua di Parma. It's Colonia Futura, this one right here. And here we have the latest release from Acqua di Parma with a new version of their Colonia series. It's called Colonia Futura, which actually really, really does work. I think I like the contrast of this particular fragrance with the lemons and bergamot and grapefruit, and then they've thrown in vetiver, sage, lavender, and pink pepper. So basically you've got the citruses on one side, and then the woods and aromatic notes on the other side, or the spicy notes, and then it's beautifully blended together. And you get all the notes. You do smell the lemons, but it's not a very tart lemon here. It's a smooth lemon. It's sweet and also a little sour tart at the same time. Bergamot is also very, very balanced. It's a great citrus used in lots of fragrances. And of course, grapefruit is a little zingy, spicy. But then that vetiver is earthy. The sage is very aromatic, green. Lavender, of course, has a beautiful fragrance. And then that pink pepper. It really does work great. And once again, with this one, I think you need it when it's really, really hot outside. Wear it when it's really hot and humid. It's that thirst quencher kind of a fragrance. You know, you put it on and you just really get invigorated and uplifted kind of a thing. So that's Colonia Futura from the house of Acqua di Parma. The next one, I'm going to the house of Maison Francis Christian, and it's Aqua Universalis Forte, this one right here. This one's just a beautiful fragrance. It does have a little depth, but it's still a very, very fresh fragrance. It's lemons, white flowers, bergamot, jasmine, musk, rose, and woodsy notes. But for me, it's mostly about the lemons with the white flowers, the bergamot and jasmine, and then the musk comes in as well. It's a very, very musky fragrance. It's also very, very clean. I almost get laundry clean with this one. It's very, very fresh, and it's a musky. And I just think it's very, very beautiful. It's a gentle touch kind of a fragrance, as in like it's soft. There's a softness about it, but it's not a baby, it's not a wimp either. It does have some depth, and I like that about this particular fragrance. Once again, it's a soothing fragrance. It's comforting at the same time because it has those softer touch qualities, but I love it. The lemons and the flowers and the musk together, beautiful concoction. So that's Maison Francis Christian Aqua Universalis Forte. The next one I think might be a little strong, but I really liked it in the heat when I first started wearing this back in 2019. This is Accento Overdose right here from Xerjoff. I love this fragrance. Recently I did a comparison of this with a few other fragrances. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch it. But this is fruity with lots of green notes with aldehydes, jasmine, lily of the valley, rose, pine, and eucalyptus. So there's aromatic spicy touches here, lots of green touches. Lily of the valley is a green flower. You've got the green notes in here as well, but it's a beautiful combination of fruits. I get maybe mangoes, I get maybe some melons, maybe some pineapple, maybe some apricots, but it's kind of like non-distinct fruits. But it's very, very sexy. It's very, very sexy. Like in the heat, when it's humid, hot, a little breeze in the evening hitting you, and you can smell this off of you. Really, really a great scent. I think this is becoming like one of my all-time favorite Xerjoff fragrances, and if I did a ranked video now, it would be really, really high up there. So that's Xerjoff Accento Overdose. Check it out if you don't know it. And I'm going to end the video here with another fragrance that I featured in a pineapple fragrances video. This is Parlez-moi de Parfums Mile High. And once again, this might be a little too much for the summertime, but I think it's doable. It's totally doable. Don't wear it when it's extremely hot out. It might get cloying, it might become sweet, but Mile High focuses on pineapple, immortelle, patchouli, and tonka beans. And immortelle is a note that has caramelized brown sugary nuances. It's nicely contrasted with the sweet pineapple in here. It's not Aventus-like. Maybe, no, at all. Not at all, absolutely not. Patchouli and tonka beans as well. It doesn't seem like it's a very, very complex fragrance, but it wears beautifully. And I think for summertime, wear it in a little bit of heat. I think it'll be perfect. Now, I'm recommending this because I don't have a problem with stronger fragrances in the summertime. If you do, this might not be for you to do, but test it out, see what you think, and then maybe you can spray one spray or two sprays once, and then graduate to like two or 3-4 sprays or something, but I think it's a great scent to wear in the summertime. I think it'll be perfect. A great fragrance from the house of Parlement de Parfum. It's Mile High, and that's the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about today for my 20 summer fragrances that are unisex. Let me know what you think about these fragrances. Let me know what you're wearing this summer as a summer fragrance. Let me know what videos you want to see in the future. I'd like to find out what you'd like to have me do videos about. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching today. Hope everyone's doing great. Please do like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.